around the way on the block, call me Breeze.
The only person you ever thought could have done it was his mom's.
It was your mother, son.
Don't know exactly what I'm going through, Grandma. I do know you're gonna need to forgive me for it.
I need to talk to you about Crystal Bradley.
Kanan, wait!
You ain't with me, you against me. Why did you kill her?
But I didn't kill your girlfriend. And I swear to that on the most important thing in my life, and that's my child.
You ain't allowed to say all that when you do what you done to me. Tonight, I'm gonna do what I should have done.
What you gonna say? What?
Man, let's cut straight to it. They did us dirty with this finale. Power usually all a finale slap, but this one, it felt like this should have been an episode 8 or 9 leading into some sort of finale setting up for next season. But we did get a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of crazy moments, reveals. The biggest, of course, Breeze finally being introduced, and here gonna be a mainstay staple in season 5. We're gonna make a whole video on him, Kanan, Ghost, and Tommy tomorrow. Also within this episode, we had a few bodies dropped, or possible bodies dropped, with the likes of Marvin going take out early, as well as Phil Russo stabbing Stefano. How all that is gonna cause a problem with Unique and Snaps and Pop brokering the deal to get all of them to work together. And of course, we gotta dive into the biggest thing with this entire episode is Kanan so furious thinking Rock took out Fame, D-Wiz, Howard, and now Crystal, and he pulls up on her with the gun, and all we hear is a shot go off. So we're just gonna have to break down everything that took place within this episode, what we're gonna see way next year for season 5, because they really didn't settle not a single storyline. But without further ado, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this finale, what you expect to happen next. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So of course we're gonna start with the Kanan shit. Like, there's really not much else to talk about. Of course, that's Kanan pulling up on Rock, having a conversation about what went down. We of course know in the last episode, Crystal revealed to Snaps and Pop that Kanan possibly thought it could be Rock who took out Fame, so they ended up killing Crystal, and they went to Kanan and told him that, hey, they heard that Rock paid cops to do it, and we already know that Kanan seen Rock prior to this information paying cops, even though it wasn't for the Fame situation. So they was able to use this to their advantage. And Kanan was telling Rock within this episode that even before, or once he found out that she killed Fame, he still tried to protect her and tried to give her a reason maybe she did it, even though that's his best friend, saying Fame could have been snitching, or Rock possibly knew something about Fame that he didn't, trying to give her more excuses. But then of course it comes out as it's revealed that Crystal is dead, that they saw a black woman leaving the area of where she was killed. Now of course we know that was Pop who shot her in the head, but just saying it's a black woman, that's such a broad description that Kanan and Jukebox started connecting some dots, and once again putting 2 and 2 together and getting 85 and starting to think it was Rock once again. So once Detective Garcia told Kanan this information, he of course went back to Jukebox and he was like, yeah, it's over for Rock. He grabbed his gun, left out the apartment, and he pulled right up on her. Now within this conversation with them, we did get a very interesting one. Obviously he brought up all the deaths that he feels she has caused, those being D-Wiz and Howard, the two that she actually had a hand in doing, though the D-Wiz messed up was his fault. She killed Howard right in front of him, which was crazy, just cause he was talking about Marvin taking the fall for them and shit. But the Fame and Crystal situation, she didn't have anything to do with, but she did so much in the past to him, like he said, that he's blinded by this hatred and this fear that she's taking everyone he loves away from him. So I kind of understand. I know a lot of people are saying he's dumb, he's stupid, whatever, but we're not gonna act like Rock hasn't been doing fucked up shit to him for seasons now, or hasn't done anything wrong to him, to the point where he would trust other people over her, even though he possibly shouldn't. So they had this whole drawn out conversation. She's telling him she loves him, everything like that, and he was like, that don't mean nothing after everything you did. Like, how am I supposed to believe that? We do see it get to the end of the scene. Rock closes her eyes, he raises his gun, and the screen goes black and they pull the trigger. This was the biggest BS ever, but did he shoot her? Now, I don't think he did. We're gonna make a video on this more this weekend. A lot of things could have took place. We gotta point out Jukebox's phone call she made. I made a video literally yesterday talking about her using her police favor to save Rock from Kanan. That's definitely a possibility. We also got to talk about Unique and his crew. We saw them making their rounds. We're gonna get to Marvin. They went and shot that up. They burnt down the Chinese spots. It's possible. I mean, Unique knows where she lives. It could have been them shooting. A shootout starts and Kanan didn't get the job done on Rock before that happened. It's a lot. We're gonna break that down more this weekend, but I don't think he actually shot and killed Rock. A lot of people would be mad if he did, not for the simple fact that they like Rock or Kanan's tripping or whatever, but just that it's kind of becoming a common trope of the kid kill a parent over and over again, everything like that. I think eventually Kanan is actually gonna find out the truth of what actually went down with Snaps, Pop, and Unique, because everything is starting to unfold with them. He overheard when Breeze was introduced, we're gonna talk about him next, that he said Unique got the Italian connect. They was talking about Stefano, and he realized, he took note of it. We also saw when Stefano met with Phil Russo and Phil Russo stabbed him, Unique went to meet with Phil Russo. He was like, hey, it's time for me to go get in the field, and Phil Russo like, hey, go with your move because Stefano might not make it, and if he does, it's gonna be an all-out war, basically revealing to Unique that he made a move on Stefano and it might come back to bite him in the ass. And Unique took note of this as well. If you guys remember, Snaps, Pop, and Unique all were supposed to broker this peace between Phil Russo and Stefano that didn't end up taking place now that Phil Russo made this move. And I think eventually all this comes out and becomes a problem, and Kanan is eventually going to be able to find out the truth of how all this actually went down, that Unique killed the OC. Remember, Unique in his conversation with Kanan mentioned Crystal, how she's possibly dead, and he basically was slipping and he was like, I don't even want to think like that, and he shouldn't have said something like that. So I guess it's a good thing Kanan didn't just kill Rock before finding out the actual truth, but it's sad that we gotta wait a whole year for it actually to come out to see what's all gonna take place and go down. Next up, the Breeze reveal. Finally, we can stop this conversation, the back and forth. He's been the biggest topic of conversation since the original Power. Who was Breeze? Now, obviously, it was leaked earlier this week. It was Shamik Moore, and I saw files got leaked and everything saying his name was Bradford Frady or whatever the hell they said his name was. But we saw in the preview for episode 10, when we saw that they wasn't showing the dude face getting out the car, and they showed them shaking hands, once again not showing his face. And even in the teaser for season 5, we see Kanan meeting with someone and they once again decide not to show their face. We all kind of figured, all right, finally Breeze is coming into the fold, and we have so many unanswered questions. We're finally gonna see him in action, and I'm glad they introduced him going into season 5. I thought season 5 was the last season. People saying it isn't, so maybe it'll be season 6, so we'll at least get 2 full seasons of seeing him in action before a Power Origins where a Ghost and Tommy might come into a fold and we see everything Kanan and Breeze taught them. I'm gonna make a whole video on that tomorrow. I've been saving clips from the original Power on everything we ever heard about Breeze and everything Ghost and Tommy talked about, what Kanan taught them as well. So like I said, we're gonna be checking that out tomorrow. I'm glad Breeze was finally introduced. Another funny thing is, literally a month ago, someone put in my comments that what if Breeze is related to Snaps and Pop and is their nephew, and I told him I don't think that makes any sense. That feels like it's coming out of nowhere. And when I saw that he was their nephew, I was laughing out loud. So My fault. Whoever put that comment like at least 3 weeks ago, I feel bad, my guy. You was right. Maybe you had the script the whole entire time and you just knew the answer and you was just trying to give me hints. But in my head, so far back then, it didn't make sense to me at all. But I'm just glad we finally got Breeze up out the way. No more speculation. We're gonna see him next year in full action with Kanan in the field. So let's just wait to see how all that plays out. Now, to explain things that took place as this war kicked off between Rock and Unique, because it's kind of crazy that this storyline became like the third or fourth most important thing, and it's kind of the whole thing that was set up throughout this entire season, and it didn't even get resolved. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. But nonetheless, we know Rock and Lou pulled up on Unique at the end of episode 9. We have, of course, seen that continue into this episode where they say both of their families are on the table, on the line, they're ready to go to war. It's happening basically, and Rock and Lou, they aren't playing. We see within this episode that Rock makes Lou follow Penessa, see where she lives, and then later in the episode, Lou pulls up with Birella. They kidnap Penessa and Unique's son Jerome, and shit on and popping basically. Of course, we see Unique. He finally got the green light from Phil Russo to start making some shit shake, and they start doing it immediately where we didn't see. Once again, they go burn down the Chinese spots, even though Rock really don't work with that shit no more. We also see them go and shoot up another location where Marvin is just pulling up, kill one of their men or whatever, but Marvin, he's perfectly fine. These dudes really didn't do no damage, just killing one person. Like, they spent the block and left so quickly, but nonetheless they did that. But we didn't see where Unique ended up. Now this made me think, of course, that he was headed to Rock's house, and that that gunshot we heard wasn't Kanan, could possibly be Unique and everything like that. And nothing is gonna go down because, once again, as I just mentioned, they have Penessa, they have Jerome, so he can't just go and kill Rock. So I don't think that's gonna take place. Now, something interesting we do find out within this episode between Phil Russo and Stefano, who they were using obviously Rock and Unique for this whole war, is that comes to find out Stefano and Phil Russo was working together to take out Sal Baselli. So Phil Russo was acting like him, Unique, and Sal's wife, they're all working together to get payback for this, but no, he wanted Sal out the way. Stefano helped with that by hiring Rock and Marvin, getting them to do it, and Phil Russo filling in that seat. So when Unique, Snaps, and Pop talking about brokering this deal between them, this peace, these dudes already been working together. Obviously that's going wrong. Stefano was pissed now that Unique and the niggas from New Jersey is pushing into New York and Queens territory, and he's like, nah, y'all gotta stop. I want all this to stop or the truth is gonna come out. And this, of course, leads to Phil Russo stabbing Stefano. Now Stefano already denounced Marvin and Rock, said, well, I'm not working with them no more due to Marvin lying about early killing the dude out on Howard Beach, said the bridge has been burned, we're done. This caused a big fight between Rock and Marvin within this episode as well. So I thought Marvin wasn't gonna have their back when shit went down. I was scared for Marvin. The way people was talking about him within this episode, Rock, how he always messing up, that he's always in the way, everything like that. How Jukebox was talking to Aisha, talking about she's staying for her dad, he needs her, she's not gonna leave him. I'm like, wait, don't tell me they setting all this up to get rid of my dude by the end of this episode. Even how he went and saw Amber moving with her new family, who seemed much nicer than the motherfucker she was just living with, so he knows she's better off. I thought they was about to give my dude a send-off, but they didn't do it. But the whole time his family, they're not working together at all. Obviously we got Kanan against Rock, we had Jukebox and Rock get into it. Once again, Marvin and Rock, everybody is against her currently except Lou, which is funny because he's the one who's been against her the entire show, who been wanted out the game, who blamed Rock for everything, and now he's the only one who's like firmly on her side. So that's just funny to see. It's crazy that this war didn't end, and it kind of was the whole point of this entire season. So I think Unique pops up at Rock's house, possibly maybe he's the one who took the shot or something, I don't know. It's just We just gonna have to wait and see. And we also gotta see if Stefano survives the stab wound for Phil Russo, and if he does this lead him to deciding to work back with a Rock, with a Marvin, with them, or with a Unique or something to get Phil Russo out the way? I think it makes more sense for him to survive, for the simple fact that it just creates more problems and tensions and storylines going forward. But once again, it's just crazy this war didn't end. Once again, this episode did not feel like a finale. Shit is really just getting started. Overall though, that's it for this video. I feel like I touched on everything, at least somewhat, in each section. Like I said, it didn't feel like a real finale that wrapped everything up in a nice little bow going into the next season. Still so many unanswered questions and reveals. Like the episode basically gonna pick up the same night that this one just ended, just how this episode just picked up the same night that the last one ended. So it feels like it shouldn't be a continuation or a whole new season. It should be a continuation, I guess I could say. But you guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions on this finale, how you felt about it, and what do you think is coming next. I still have a few videos I want to make about theories and predictions. Like I said, jukeboxes, phone calls, more videos about Breeze, Kanan, Ghost, and Tommy, and all that. But I do think I was underwhelmed by this episode. I think my expectations was way too high. Like I was thinking this was possibly going to be the best season of Raising Kanan, or one of the best seasons in the Power universe as a whole. I think it let me down. As usual though, you guys can leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.